Call on Government Order of the Day number 3.
Local Government Act 2002 Amendment Bill number 2, first reading.
The Honourable Pesita Sam Lotu-Iiga.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. I move that the Local Government Act 2002 Amendment Bill number 2 be now read a first time. At the appropriate time, I intend to move that the bill be considered by the Local Government and Environment Committee with instruction that the committee report to the House on or before the 28th of October 2016. This timing will allow councils to make submissions on the bill before the break for local body elections. The intention is to pass legislation in time for the newly elected councils and the Local Government Commission to use these improvements early in the new council term. Mr Speaker, local government touches everyone's lives. Councils help to build our roads, supply our water and collect our rubbish. They manage our libraries, our community halls and our swimming pools. They make decisions that affect the lives of all New Zealanders in their local communities every day. Councils provide essential infrastructure and services to support regional growth, jobs and community development. They have a challenging task and their world is changing. The costs of providing local services and managing council infrastructure are rising faster than council revenues. Councils need new ways to manage finances, improve efficiencies and create better value for ratepayers. Sir, there are currently 78 councils and 66 water authorities across New Zealand. Some regions in New Zealand are facing rapid growth, while others have to deal with declining populations. As a result, some councils are struggling to provide services to their communities at optimal levels. And this is because individually their rating base is small and they are unable to attract the necessary levels of expertise within their ranks. The current legislation focuses on amalgamation to gain scale for shared services. Communities in Northland, the Hawke's Bay and Wellington have told us that they do not want full-scale amalgamation. But this bill provides a middle ground. Communities will retain their elected councils. Councils, in turn, will be able to work more collaboratively to manage infrastructure and services across our regions. And this will deliver more joined-up, cost-effective services and better value for our ratepayers. I've engaged with councils, iwi and local government sector groups around the country over recent weeks and have received their feedback on the Better Local Services reform package. Mr Speaker, this bill, as tabled, takes on this feedback and implements this package. First, this bill will allow 2 or more councils across a region to create more effective council-controlled organisations, or CCOs. CCOs are a proven way to deliver cost-effective services and infrastructure to communities. The current legislation restricts the kinds of CCOs that can be created. Through multiply owned CCOs, councils across regions will be better able to achieve cost savings and improve service delivery of water, transport and other council services. Multiply owned CCOs can have the size and scale to enable them to have much greater capability and capacity than can be achieved by individual councils. For example, this bill will allow a water CCO owned by multiple councils in the Waikato area. I know that councils are already exploring options for shared services to run a Waikato water network, and I know Mr McIndoe will be happy about that too. A multiply-owned CCO could own the infrastructure, do the planning and manage the network for its shareholding councils. This bill will also remove some of the barriers to possible transport CCOs. 2 models for regional transport, multiply-owned CCOs, will be specifically provided for in the legislation. And if councils prefer, there is provision to create a bespoke model which will require the approval of the Minister of Transport, and I know in the Canterbury region that will be welcome. The bill also enables region-wide planning with joint council committees able to prepare combined plans under the Resource Management Act. This would make life easier for communities and developers as they would have only one set of planning rules to deal with across a region. The bill also introduces much stronger accountability arrangements for CCOs. Councils can appoint a joint committee to oversee the management of their CCO interests. CCO planning and delivery documents will be closely aligned with council plans to ensure that ratepayers get the services and the sustainable infrastructure that they need. Secondly, sir, the Local Government Commission will be empowered to work with councils and communities to deliver local solutions. This bill will expand the processes available to the Local Government Commission. Current processes mean the Commission is limited to reacting to reorganisation applications that it receives. The bill will enable the Commission to be much more proactive in setting its work program. Ratepayers and residents will see a Commission that is much more responsive to local circumstances, working with local communities and councils, as well as iwi, to find local solutions. To balance these enhanced powers, the bill will also place greater transparency and accountability arrangements on the Commission. Any reorganisations will need to protect the integrity of any council iwi arrangements. The Commission and councils will need to consult with their local communities as well as iwi on any proposed reorganisation. The Commission will be required to provide annual statements of intent and agree the Commission's work program with the Minister of Local Government at that time. The Commission will also be subject to the Official Information Act upon the completion of its investigations, dispute resolutions and determinations of appeals. It will also be subject to the Ombudsman Act. Mr. Speaker, it's expected that the Commission will have an increased workload as it works with communities on shared arrangements. For this reason, I am proposing the number of permanent commissioners be increased from 3 to a maximum of 5. Mr. Speaker, this bill will make a number of changes to the Local Government Act. It will enable council-led reorganisations for the first time. Councils will be able to develop and implement reorganisation proposals in consultation with their communities and their neighbouring councils. The Local Government Commission will have enhanced powers to work with councils and government to support reorganisation proposals. But most importantly, sir, these changes will enable more effective delivery of quality local services that will support regional growth, jobs and local communities. I urge members to support this bill and I commend this bill to the House.
Committee.
Mr. Speaker.
Just point of order. The Minister indicated he intended to move that nominate a committee, but he hasn't done that. So he should.
Okay, I move that the bill be considered by the Local Government and Environment Committee with instruction that the committee report to the House. I can do that, sir, at the end of
your speech.
The bill.
Thank you. The question is that the motion be agreed to.
Mr. Speaker.